Go. And welcome to episode 447, I believe it is, of the Pittsburgh Nerd Podcast. I'm Sean.
And I'm Ian, and this is the only podcast that says,
With great power comes great responsibility. I'm not even bearing a fucking lead on this one. We're just going to jump right into it. It's Spider-Man weekend. We are spoiling the shit out of this. I got to talk to somebody about it. Nancy didn't go see it with me. I need to talk to somebody. And you're my man. So let's just start off with it. What did you think as the hardcore Spider-Man fan? What were your opening thoughts watching that film?
I hated it. No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus.
I'm kidding.
I mean, maybe Red Bull sipping. Hit me with that.
I liked it a lot. I paid a lot of I don't know how to describe it. It was one of the better ones that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was better than Homecoming. It seemed like a more complete movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it wasn't set. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, the stakes were higher in a sense versus, just Mysterio. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it was a little bit bigger than that, which I appreciated. I thought it was a lot darker as well.
Yeah.
Which I liked. But all in all, I thought it was A+. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it dragged at certain points. But I think that was just part of the storytelling. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. Like, as far as the dragging points, like I didn't find them to be dragged. Like, I didn't find it to be dragging out at that point. Like, especially like, I mean, you get to that point where like they're, especially all the villains at Happy's apartment, he's trying to cure them. That seemed to be like where it kind of like bogged down a little bit. But it was like a good bogging down. Like it was like it was moving at such a breakneck pace it almost needed to stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I like that about it. And it kind of like at that point explored the characters a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like and I like that aspect of it. I like how they went into a little bit of. They didn't go in too much, but they went into some depth on those characters, which I liked.
Yeah.
Versus just being some randos. You know what I mean? But it also helps their backstory already, so you don't really need to go into it. And I thought they touched pretty good on that, where, first-time viewer can go, oh, okay, I'll have to go back and watch that. But at the same point, I understand what's going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought overall this was probably the best Spider-Man movie since Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Homecoming. I like No Way Home a lot. But I Spider-Man 2 is still like, to me, like it's like the second best or third best comic book movie of all time. Like this, like
right.
Dark Knight, then there's like maybe like Infinity War, and then there's or Endgame, like, and then there's Spider-Man 2. Like I hold that movie like in that high of esteem. I think that's one of those rare movies where like Sam Raimi really knocked that movie out of the park, and Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, and everything that went into that movie, like I just appreciated it a lot.
Right.
So like to say that, like that to me is like putting it up there. I liked I like Strange. I thought, you know, Cumberbatch is clearly made for the part, and I thought like he was telling like his story was very interesting part of it, that like he was like, fuck, okay, I'll do it because, you know, we did shit together. You know, like I feel like I owe the kid, you know. And like there are all sorts of like little like, and then like his like him being pissed off about like, look, this isn't my fucking fault.
Right.
And this is how you fix it. Just push this button and you're done. It's simple. Yeah. You're making this far too complex. You know, but I like that aspect of it. I liked, because it wasn't like a situation like the thing everybody was concerned about was like, okay, well, Stephen Strange is replacing Tony Stark. Like yeah, that's supposed to be the new like mentor, quote unquote, for, and like it wasn't. It was like, you know, Peter coming to him, and then Peter like finding out like you're a bit of a dick. You know,
right.
No wonder people don't like you that much.
Right.
And there was like that aspect of it, and then like, I mean, the whole, I hate to say this because again, we're spoiling the shit out of this movie, but I really liked Andrew Garfield. Like this was like the redemption of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it what like it, and I don't know, and I'm sure it's like the marvelizing of that character, or maybe this is where he would have gone after the events of Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
But like he wasn't so dreary and emo. Like that's what I hated about that character. It was like his version of Peter Parker was like annoying as fuck, and like here he was kind of like, you know, chipper almost. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I was like, okay, wow, this is a kind of a like his whole interaction, like, you know, with MJ and Ned in Ned's grandmother's house, like that whole interaction, like was amazing to me. Like it, like. I don't care. Like I thought like the entire time, like I thought to myself, wow, Andrew Garfield figured it out. Like 10 years later, he figured it out. Good for him. You know.
But I think you have to look at where their target audience was at that time.
I get that.
I mean, like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, I get it, but it drove me nuts because that's not the character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think what impressed me most about this, I'm serious, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is Tobey Maguire. Like I was so impressed with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
That I could barely stand myself.
Yeah.
Like I wanted more out of Tobey Maguire than I did anybody else. Because he almost seemed like the voice of reason. He was the older Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was more knowledgeable. He's been through more shit. You know?
Yeah.
I just really liked the character, and he almost. It's funny, you know, when you watched him, he acted the same, almost. You know, very similar, but older. You know.
Yeah.
And so I really liked him. I did. I thought, wow, this is fantastic. And I'm a Garfield fanatic. I love Amazing. So, to me, I just really liked the character. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I did. I thought he was really excellent in it. Villain-wise, I feel like they got those guys spot on.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what's his name stole the show. I mean,
Willem
God.
Dafoe.
Yeah. Stole the fucking show. When he spoke, you listened, and to physically watch a character change his persona.
Yeah.
Amazing acting. I mean, it was. I mean, you can't deny that. The guy's just a good actor, number one.
Yeah.
But to see him change from Goblin to, it was just, it was amazing. You know what I mean? Like, it's two different characters you're playing, and he just hit it out of the park. And when he became Goblin,
do
you know what I mean? That was like, oh fuck, that's badass.
Yeah.
And then he webbed them.
Yeah.
I was like, he's just gonna keep talking, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it was badass. And then when he took off, with the pumpkin bombs killing Ant-Man, I was like, dude, that's a badass shit right there, boy. That's Goblin. And you know what I mean? Like, that's what you expect, and that's what we got. So, I mean, I was pretty impressed by that. So.
Yeah, I thought Dafoe, particularly, like, I mean, it was a, like, I mean, I never had a problem with his take on Goblin, but it was like, always like that goofy fucking helmet that he had to wear that I hated. And I mean, once they kind of got rid of that, and they put him in the hoodie, I mean, clearly, it looked much more like what we would expect the Goblin to look like. And I like that a lot. And I mean, like you said, like the way he acted, like, I love that they threw in that stupid fucking meme line of, a bit of a scientist myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I laughed out loud. Like, I was the only person in the theater who went like, ha ha, at that line. Like, But I mean, I think Jamie Foxx was really good. I mean, Molina was, fucking phenomenal, which you expected.
He was perfect.
Yeah, but
I mean, I wish we had more Molina.
Yeah.
That's the only takeaway I can take from it is, like, I just didn't get enough of what I wanted. I guess, in a sense, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted a little bit more Tobey Maguire. I wanted a little bit more Molina. If I was going to pick negatives, I didn't need more Tom Holland. But I needed some more of those characters that I haven't seen in a while. You know what I mean? I mean, Sandman.
Yeah. Like, I really thought they did a pretty good job of juggling it, though. Like, you're right. Like, I would have loved to have seen more Molina. And I would have loved to have seen more Dafoe. And I would have loved to have seen more of the three Spider-Men just kind of, like, hanging out and talking. Yeah. Like, that scene before the fight was so fucking, like, when they're like, you just shoot it out of your wrist? Really? And he's like, yeah. I mean, like, that was a phenomenal, like, those little scenes like that were just so good. Like, and it was like, it was so well done, and like, I thought really, really well balanced. And I mean, we got some of the stuff that we did want to see, like, the scene where, again, we've already told you we're spoiling this shit, but that scene where Mary Jane's fallen.
Oh man!
Garfield saves her, and then he, like, almost, like,
he did cry. He was breaking down.
Yeah, like, that was phenomenal. I was like rolling tears at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, it was phenomenally well done. And I mean, it was shit like that, and I mean, the death of Aunt May.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think the shit that's got me was that she actually got up to check on Pete. Like, her first reaction, dying, was to get up and check on Peter.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, she shouldn't even have been able to get up.
When she took that hit from the glider, and she got up, I'm like, oh, this is fucking bullshit.
Right.
Like, oh, like, come on, man. Like, there's a lot of things I can suspend my belief on, but Aunt May ain't taking that shot. And then when it was the killing shot, I was like, oh shit. You know?
Yeah, I told Jason as soon as that glider hit her, I was like, she's dead.
Yeah.
She's dead. And I was like, and at that point I figured it out. You know what I mean? Like, but uh, but that death scene was brutal. That was almost as brutal as Tony Stark.
Yeah.
In a sense. I mean, you have to put it in perspective. But I mean,
Right.
like, for him, it was Tony Stark. I mean,
Right.
that was his Aunt May. That was his only connection to family whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but once I figured out that she needed to die, I mean, not need to die, but I understood it, right? Because each one of them had that death, both being Uncle Ben and him being Aunt May.
Right. And like the
Does that
whole
make sense?
Right. With the great power comes great responsibility line, and with McGuire finishing that form and then explaining, well, this is where this came from for me. Like that, it all tied together so fucking well.
Yeah.
You know,
it did.
That it made you kind of realize that this has been a 3-movie origin story, essentially.
Right.
Like this is when he finally becomes really Spider-Man.
Right.
You know, and I mean, it was like, I mean, it's just really well done.
Yeah, it was very well written.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was brutal. And then Happy looking on, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, that was rough. I liked it. I mean, I did like Strange's involvement as well.
Yeah.
Like, it made sense.
Yeah.
I like that Pete said math is way cooler. I thought that was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that was pretty neat. Like,
yeah,
he
figures out the mirror dimension is just geometry.
Right.
He's like, oh, I can fucking fix this. Okay.
Right.
You know.
But I did. It just a lot of it made sense. You know what I mean? Like it's really good. And I like Pete's heart. You know, I'm like I like that Peter wanted to try to fix them.
Yeah.
Like in his heart, he just wanted to fix them.
And like so even at the end, like getting Strange's respect. That like, okay, you did it your way, you fixed them, and now you're gonna make this ultimate sacrifice that everybody's gonna forget you, including me, including MJ, including Ned, everybody.
Right.
Like that moment where he's like, "I'll see you around, kid." Like, I was like, oh man.
But didn't Stark do the same thing? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Stark took it upon himself to end the whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was a Stark move in what he did.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Great responsibility. Yeah.
Right. So it just all ties in to what Peter did. You know?
Yeah.
I love the diner scene at the end.
Yeah.
I thought it was perfect. I thought it was the way it should go. I'm glad it didn't go another way.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
he's gonna let them have their happiness. He knows he's a drag.
Exactly, but it also goes back to what J. Jonah Jameson said, and it also goes back to what Goblin said, in a sense that, you know, wherever he goes, trouble follows.
Right.
A lot of it is his fault a lot of the times, which is true in a sense, because the villains follow him.
And even it goes back to like there's that conversation between Garfield and McGuire where like they're trying to like, you know, so you have anybody, and you know they're both kind of like, no, not really. This line of work doesn't allow for it. You know.
Yeah.
McGuire was like, yeah, I've got MJ, kind of, sort of. You know, I don't know, and it's there and it's not. Like it was very much that way of like you know, no, like being Spider-Man just doesn't allow for it.
Right.
You know, and it's like that's the realization that Holland's Spider-Man comes to the moment he sees MJ, it's like when he sees Ned and they're going to MIT, and it's like I can't ruin this for them.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And then the moment at the very end with Happy was brutal. Like that one had me. Like it was like even Happy doesn't remember him. like which hurt. You know?
And then there was the Stark reference.
Yeah.
Again, to
Yeah.
pour salt in the wound.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. But I mean,
Yeah.
like it was like, but that moment at the cemetery was like, is heart wrenching because it was like, you just want to be like, yeah, fuck, like happy. What about Holland?
Yeah.
You know, like it was shit like that. Like I mean, but so like it was like this odd thing of like the ending works perfectly, and it sets up whatever the next movie or movies are for. I'm guessing with Venom,
Right.
based upon the stinger at the end, which is pretty fucking funny, by the way.
Yeah.
But I mean, it looks like it's a bright future ahead, and but like I'm intrigued to see like it's not so much like, well, who's he fighting next? Oh wow, maybe it looks like he's gonna be Venom because the goo got left behind. Ooh, I wonder who's gonna be Venom. You know, it's not so much that as much as it is like, what's the story of Peter Parker?
Right.
You know, like you and I both know like MJ's his destiny. You know, like how does that resolve itself? Like where does it go next? You know, based upon he doesn't want to ruin her life, he doesn't want to take her away from MIT, but at the same time, like I mean, do they introduce a Gwen Stacy like character next and he lets MJ go, or what?
Yeah, I don't know. Or do you have the whole involvement of, him leaving her alone, and then maybe her and Ned get involved, and then here comes Peter and takes over, and then Ned turns bad. I mean, yeah, there's that theory. Or maybe Ned isn't bad in this universe.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe he's, because it's so different.
Like, and the other oddball thing is like, Ned can produce magic. So like clearly Strange forgot that. Or did he?
Yeah.
Like he forgets Peter Parker, but does he forget Ned?
Right.
And clearly, like I think Strange would be the type who would be like, okay, I need to take this kid under my wing because he can be powerful.
Right.
You know, this is an untapped source or something. Like it's again that oddball thing, like of how do they treat like, because it would suck if it was like, okay, yeah, Ned can produce magic and he like opens the portals and they never touch on it ever again.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so, but who knows?
I mean, why? But why would you know what I mean? Like, why
Yeah.
would they just kind of hint around at it?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it just.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I mean, but it's that oddball thing of like, what's the future of that aspect of that character?
Right.
You know, because you're right. Like,
I always wonder.
I always wonder
why MJ wasn't in Garfield's world. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I understand where they were going with story. I understand that. But in the same respect, MJ is such a huge piece of the Spider-Man. I mean,
would she have been in Amazing Spider-Man 3?
I don't know the answer.
That's the thing. Like, so because I mean, in the comic books, it was Gwen Stacy first and then MJ.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think that book actually ends with MJ, knocking at his door, and it's your lucky day, Tiger.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like it's that odd thing of like, with what would Amazing Spider-Man 3 have held, and who would have played MJ?
Right. But I liked all three Spider-Mans. I liked them all working together.
Yeah.
I liked the part by Garfield when he said, "You look like a fucking Sunday school teacher." I thought that was great. I thought that was a great line. It was like, There were some good liners.
Yeah.
Good lines from Garfield in this that was very reminiscent of Amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Threw a lot of one-liners out there that were really good. And I like how they kept their Spider-Mans their Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing varied. I mean, that's Garfield as Spider-Man, and that's exactly the way he was in Amazing. This is Tobey Maguire, and this is exactly how Tobey Maguire was in Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like how they put the theme music to each one of them.
Yeah.
From each movie. I thought that was amazing. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's good shit. I mean, when you're thinking on that level,
yeah,
that's pretty good stuff. So, I like Matt Murdock's appearance. The badassery of that. I still would have liked to see Daredevil in some form, but I did get him as Matt Murdock, so I'm okay with that. But it just introduces the character.
Right.
I get that. You know what I mean? And I'm perfectly happy with that because Daredevil needs to be in this universe.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you're right. Like, I mean, if that's probably my biggest complaint is I didn't see Daredevil. But like that scene was phenomenal. Like that was like.
I'm a really good lawyer. That's badass.
Yeah.
His response by kicking the brick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a really good lawyer. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great scene. I loved that. And you're right. Like I'm glad. Like it's the introduction, quote unquote. I love to see. I want to see him played with more. I mean, Charlie Cox is made for that role. He's absolutely fucking made for that role. And I'm hoping and I know he doesn't, but it's I'm hoping he shows up at the finale of Hawkeye somehow.
Yeah. Oh,
we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
But I think overall, you and I are on the same page. I do want to ask, before we finish off our talk here, at the very end, the mini trailer for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. What'd you think of that?
It looked good. I didn't really get. I mean, I saw it. Don't get me wrong, but it was just it was quick because it was the first viewing, and I didn't get to watch it again. Really yet. But I'm fine by it. Looks good to me. I can't tell you Easter eggs that I saw, or anything.
Right.
I wondered who the two people were in back of him at one point. I couldn't quite understand what that was, but I think that was the only part that I really focused in on, and then the rest of it I just watched.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there are some things I'm intrigued by. This what I mean. I think what's very interesting is, I mean, it's a Doctor Strange movie. It's being directed by Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
And Sam Raimi hit a home run with 2 out of 3 Spider-Man movies. The third one was a foul ball. But I mean, Sam Raimi is also a great horror director.
Right.
And I feel like even more than Spider-Man, I feel like Doctor Strange is really in his wheelhouse. And I feel like,
it is. It's almost like Morbius should be in his wheelhouse.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like this is something that I really feel like Remy can really, really sink his teeth into. And I think more so than he had with Sony, he does have more direction from Marvel on this is what we want. We want the Sam Raimi touch to this, but at the same time, this is what we're asking you to deliver to us.
Right.
And I think that may work to everybody's favor.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But I think overall, you and I are both on the same page, and this was a fantastic movie, well worth the price of admission.
Oh yeah, definitely worth the price of admission.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a must see in the theater. Just because you can get that, theater vibe.
Yeah.
It was just a really good film. It was a quick 2.5 hours too, like you said. It was.
It was. It was a very quick 2.5 hour thing. I was surprised like, when you get to the when they're at the Statue of Liberty. I was kind of like, wow, I can't believe this is almost over. It seems to have feels like it just started.
I like how the shield went down too.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of like a changing of the guard type of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're done with this aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
at least that's how I felt. You know what I mean? Like it's a new day.
Yeah.
Quit rehashing Cap. Yeah.
But at the same time, like it's not a new day because like you've got Rogers the musical.
Yeah, I know. And we're trying to get past that.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where they're going.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. But the flip side of that is Hawkeye.
Huh?
The flip side of that is Hawkeye, though.
Oh, man. We going into Hawkeye now?
Yeah, we're going to go into Hawkeye.
Yeah. What a great fucking series.
Hasn't it been, though? I mean, my God.
Man, I think I like this better than any of them. Honestly, I'm being quite honest with you. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Loki and I like WandaVision, Soldier, but I think this has been the best of them all. And I think it's because of Renner. I think he's a good actor. I do. I think he's very believable. His facial expressions are on point. He can act, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know, man. You feel for the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Each time she comes up in conversation, you can see it in his face. His acting is showing through his acting. Does that make sense? Like it's showing into his mind.
Yeah.
Which is without him even saying it.
I feel like as odd as this is going to be to say, this more than any of the other shows is the most personal to the character.
Yeah.
Because in reality, all this is about is I just want to be home for Christmas.
Yeah.
I want to be with my family. And WandaVision was a personal story because it was about her grief in many, many ways. But at the same time, her grief had cosmic ramifications.
All right.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier was about moving on from Steve Rogers. But at the same time, like the ramifications of that were global.
Right.
With Loki, I mean, it was clearly multi-dimensional consequences, But with this, it's really at the end of the day, it's about Hawkeye.
Right.
I mean, it's about this character. It's about this poor guy who just wants to clean up his own mess and go home. And
the fact that they brought Ronan back into it.
Yeah.
Unreal.
I like the fact that like his stint as Ronan is haunting him.
Yeah.
It was like one of those things where it was like, well, it's time to pay the piper now.
Right.
You had a 5-year stint where you just went on this killing spree, and now it's time to pay the piper. And he's trying to avoid that because he's like, yeah, look, I ain't proud of it, but I did it, and I'm not a good person for it. But
right.
I got my family back now, so I'm put that behind me.
Right.
And I mean, this episode was phenomenal because first you got Yolanda from the Black Widow movie, and like that scene between her and Kate Bishop was fantastic.
Oh man, wasn't it?
It was. That was a phenomenal scene, and like it's just been like little things here and there, like that episode was just so well done.
Uh-huh.
And then we get the reveal at the end. Oh
man, Uncle.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, like,
it's just a really well done series.
Yeah.
It truly is. I mean, he's searching for redemption, and he just can't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what he does.
Yeah.
But boy, when he put on that Ronin costume, man, was he badass. Like, it was like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
Totally different fighting style.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was different. Fact that he snuck the blade out was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of aspects to this that were, like, really, really good.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's just so personal, you know? I like the one, whatever episode, I can't remember if this is the last one or the one before that, where she brought the Christmas tree and they taught her how to sling a quarter. Yeah, one before. Yeah. Taught her how to sling a quarter and, all that kind of shit. But, I mean, like, it brought it down to a humanistic level.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like outer space or multi-dimensional, or it wasn't
right.
magic and beyond magic. It was just, I'm a human being. I have a certain set of skills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is what I can do with them. And I'm pretty sneaky, ninja-esque.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when it comes down to the end of the day, I'm just a regular guy trying to get back to his family. Yeah. I love that Linda Cardellini is going to be in this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
His wife.
Yeah.
I forget her name. I forget her superhero name.
Well, we think we're all assuming she's Mockingbird.
She has to be.
She has to be. I agree.
But I mean, like she retired to, have some kids. She knows Russian. She knows everything what's going on.
Who the fuck does that watch belong to?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I assumed it was Stark's.
Yeah.
But I think I'm wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah. But like you're right, like with Linda Cardellini, like you're right, like it's like, and there's too much here that says that tells me you're not mocking. You have to be fucking Mockingbird.
Yeah. She just knows too much.
Yeah.
I mean, she knows the play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, this
she understands what he's doing.
And it's like this thing of like, I think the thing that like makes me like think it even more is, it's one of those things where like I don't think Nick Fury would have gone out of his way to hide them like he did if it wasn't somebody like I feel like Hawkeye was like one of his close guys, and it was like, okay, I will do this for the two of you because I love you both. Yeah. And a guy like me doesn't have people like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she had to have been a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. at some point. Like,
right.
And for her to have been Mockingbird would have just, like, been perfect.
Yeah. I think that'll come out in the last episode. But I don't think they're going to be coming for her. I think she's going to end up showing up. I don't know how it's going to happen. Or maybe he just goes home. But in the same,
right, but like, but is that either like season 2 of Hawkeye, like where the Kingpin is coming for the family?
Oh my God!
You know what I mean? Like he has that moment with Maya, where he tells her like, you or anybody else that comes from my family, it'll be the last thing you fucking do.
I know.
Like that's how serious. Like I put this suit on because my family got blipped. You come after,
Yeah.
what the fuck you think I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
Take me serious. So.
Oh, Kingpin's
Yeah, I mean,
not
like,
afraid of
so I mean, if it's Kingpin coming for the Bartons, like I'm all in for that.
that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I liked what's her name too. I thought she was great. I mean, are they setting up the new Avengers?
I'm sure they're setting up something.
You
I mean,
know,
you don't bring in Kate Bishop just for like a series,
right? And then you're also bringing in what's her name as well.
Miss Marvel.
No. Ah. Nah, I don't know. I can't think.
Well, I mean,
You're bringing in what's her name? Her sister.
Yeah, Yolanda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're kind of bringing in people. You're setting it up. You're setting the time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think Shang-Chi as well, in a way. Yeah, I mean, like the end scene of Shang-Chi kind of sets up like something Avenger-y, because I mean there's Captain Marvel, there's Banner talking to him.
Banner.
There's Wong. Like I mean there's more to this. I mean clearly, I mean I think you have to set that up. I mean I think like the Avengers as an IP is something that Marvel's just not going to throw away after the last movie. Like we're not going to use that title again.
Right.
We're done with that. No, you're not. You're not fooling me. So.
Yeah, I don't. I'm talking. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm intrigued to see how this ends. I think is the key here. Like, I'm just intrigued to see how Hawkeye ends at this point.
Yeah, I am too. But I still think they're setting up the new Avengers. Not new Avengers as in new Avengers movie, but new Avengers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like somebody's going to take up that mantle of we are the Avengers.
Yeah, but the comic line of New Avengers.
You mean the Young Avengers?
No, New Avengers.
New Avengers? I can't remember. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. Either way.
Anyway.
Yeah. I did watch a movie you and I talked about that we were interested in.
What's that?
I watched King Richard.
King Richard.
That was the one about Richard Williams. Will Smith was in it.
Oh, how was that?
Venus and Serena. It's actually really good.
Was it too much? Was it too much Will Smith?
No. No, because he's playing a real character. He can't be Will Smith.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's one of those oddball things of like, I don't know how much of this was real and how much of this is kind of like the Williams sisters going back and rewriting history, maybe. But I mean, I said it before, like, Venus Williams is probably the most dominant athlete in a sport ever.
Yeah.
Like for 15 years, Venus Williams dominated, or Serena Williams dominated tennis, and Venus Williams was number 2.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where, like, watching this movie, like, you want to say, like, in many ways Richard Williams got it, and in many ways he didn't get it, but somehow he got lucky still because they were just so gifted.
Right.
And part of that's just extremely hard work that he put in and that they put in. But like you really need to watch the movie to like understand, like, because part of it is like, and I don't know jack shit about tennis, so this is tough for me to like say like, well, what's right and what's wrong. But
yeah,
like, he didn't like that they competed in juniors, or that Venus competed in juniors. He didn't like putting that kind of pressure on them. But at the same time, he's pumping them up as being the greatest of all time. He was hesitant to start them at, I think what Venus was 14 when she made her debut on, her first professional match. And
right.
It's one of those deals where he was still hesitant to do that, and he had to be convinced to do it because he wanted them to be kids. But like, at the same time, like, at some point you have to compete. Like, you just can't keep practicing. You have to compete.
Right.
And so it's one of those weird things of like he made moves, and like, he ended up being right in the end, but like, how much of that was like pure fucking luck? You know what I mean? Like, and it's one of those things. Like, I mean, he's got a $3 million endorsement deal from Nike for Venus, and he turned them away. He's like, because I'll get more later on. And he was right, but like, what if he was wrong? Like, it was like, so it was a very good movie, and I think like Richard Williams is a very polarizing character, because he's like the overbearing sports dad who drove his kids to greatness, but yet they still somehow turned out to be okay.
Yeah, they did, actually.
Yeah, I mean, weirdly, like, they both, like, Venus and Serena Williams are not only like two of the greatest tennis stars of all time, but they're entrepreneurial. That everything else they do is a fucking success, and it's like I don't know if what you did was right or wrong, but fuck, you got lucky, man.
Really,
yeah. But it's a really good movie that I'd highly recommend you checking out. Like,
I like tennis, so
yeah. Like, I can watch tennis, and like, I would watch Serena Williams play. Like, if it was like a big match with Serena Williams, I would tune in for a little bit and watch, because, I mean,
right,
you're watching greatness, and you're watching greatness.
Yeah.
Like, it's that thing of like when you, it's that thing of like when you see an athlete take the field of competition. There are certain athletes that you just see rise to the occasion, and there are certain athletes you see shrink under the pressure.
Yeah.
Jordan, Kobe, Tom Brady, Tiger Woods in his prime.
Yeah.
Like, you would see, like, if it was a Sunday and Tiger was in contention, man, nobody wanted to see that red shirt.
Right.
Like, it was shit like that. Like, so it was like, and that's Serena Williams. Like, Serena Williams took the court, and whoever it was that she was across the court from, it didn't fucking matter.
No.
And many times it was her sister.
Yeah.
Like, how many times they go to the fucking Wimbledon finals against each other?
I know. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Well, that's not weird,
but still, it's weird in the fact that I mean, it's weird in the fact that one, they were the two best tennis players in the world, but two, that it was like there was a major gap between the talent of Venus and Serena to the point that like Serena dominated. Like, usually you think maybe that's 50-50 between siblings, that type of competition, because they'd know each other and,
right.
they'd be close in talent, but like there was a clear gap between one and two.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. That's about it. I started watching The Witcher.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, season 2 of The Witcher premiered this week, and I'm 5
How's
episodes.
that turning out?
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm intrigued to see how this season plays out. But yeah, I'm 5 episodes into that, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I mean, Cavill's he's fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you don't watch it. You couldn't get into it.
All right, I couldn't.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else. That's probably it. Yeah. You catch anything? Watch anything interesting?
Thinking. Watch that new Sandra Bullock movie on Netflix.
Okay.
It's excellent. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a brand new movie.
Yeah, I saw.
I think it's Netflix.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Truly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not Sandra Bullock being snarky and,
Yeah.
Not that I don't mind that. I mean, I kind of like that about her characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this has nothing to do with anything like that. And it's a dark movie. She just really, I mean, she might get up for an Oscar role for this one.
Yeah.
I mean, she's really that good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't remember the name of it, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, I know when you're talking. I can't remember the name of it either, but I've heard good things about it. I've heard people say it's very well done, and she's phenomenal in it, which you'd expect.
She is. Yeah, I mean, she's just really good. So, and that's it. That's really the only thing I've watched.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm gonna make it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, you're beat. You went to the Steeler game today.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, watched that implosion by the Titans.
It just wasn't that much of it wasn't that exciting of a game. But it had its moments. I guess
two bad offensive teams.
Yeah.
Like, luckily for us, it worked out to the Steelers' favor, but with 3 games left in the season.
Right.
I mean, in all honesty, they play Kansas City next week in Kansas City. They are going to get smoked.
Right.
Like, they're just going to get smoked in that game. After that, after they play Baltimore again, and they got Cleveland.
Right.
Man, just win one out of those 2. That's all I'm asking for. I'm asking for 1. You get 8-1. Man, that's a successful season.
Yeah.
But I mean, not 9-7-1 would be fantastic. But I'm settling for 8-8.
Yeah.
Just beat the Browns.
Yeah. Did Baltimore win or lose today?
They lost.
Oh, thank God.
They lost by 1 point again on a 2-point.
Oh, that's because they went for the 2-pointer.
Yeah.
How weird, right?
Well, I mean, I think it's 2 things. I think Baltimore pays way too much attention to analytics. I think there's a lot of teams that are doing that nowadays. They're paying way too much attention to analytics. And I think the other thing is, man, you just came back against the Packers, you at home, and you've got your backup quarterback playing. How much faith do you have in him in overtime? Like,
Right,
you know,
right.
and how much faith do you have in your defense stopping Aaron Rodgers?
Right.
You know, so I think it's that you roll the dice and you say, let's just try to end it now.
Right.
You know, so I can't blame them for doing that. I mean, just like I didn't blame Baltimore for going for 2 against Steelers. Like, it made sense. Like, they had too many injuries on their defense. Pittsburgh was hot. They didn't think they could stop them if, you know, they got the ball to start the overtime. And let's just put this away now. And, you know, J.J. Watt makes a play like he always does. He forces that pass a little wide. Andrews can't get to it. You know, there you go. So, like, I have a hard time. Like, I feel like they're making the right decision for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But it's just not working out in their favor.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. The Penguins stayed red hot.
They are red hot.
Yeah. Tristan Jarry's red hot. That's red hot right now.
Yeah, but as soon as he loses a couple games, everybody wants him out of there.
Of course.
It's just weird Pittsburgh fan base sometimes.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, it is. It absolutely.
Especially hockey. It gets really weird.
Oh, it's like goalies like goalies are like quarterbacks. Like they get too much blame when they lose, and too much credit when they win. You know.
Right.
Like, and especially in Pittsburgh, it's like, you know, man, your goalie better, you know, he better be able to stop water. You know. But
I know.
Yeah. So that's all I got for today.
All right, sir.
We'll do a shorty because I know you're tired.
I am exhausted.
You are.
Just a long day.
It was a long weekend. Well, you were busy all weekend. I know you were.
I was.
Yeah. So.
Get some shut eye.
Yeah. So there are a number of ways you can reach out and touch us. You can send us an email, and I would love to hear from you. That email address is pittsburghnerd@yahoo.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Pittsburgh Nerd. We're very, very easy to find. And you can also find us on a number of podcasting networks. We're on the Tangent Bound Network, the Weeby Geeks Network, and the Pod Breed Network. Just give them a Google search. You'll find all the other great podcasts they have to offer. And lastly, as always, I want to thank you, dear listener, for checking us out each and every week. I can't thank you enough for your support. And Merry Christmas to everybody. That'll be, you know, we're recording on Sunday, so we're a week away from Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know when we're going to record. I guess we're going to record Sunday next week. So.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
I didn't even think about next week yet.
Yeah. You don't want to. And so on that note, the dreamer has awakened.
Peace.